Let's go!
Welcome for this Saturday, the 1st of the 7th. I want to welcome for this new month, 1st of the 7th, 1st of July. We're cracking down on the years, cracking down on the months, cracking down on the minutes. My name is Silver and Sidil, and from the UK here. And for those on TikTok, thank you so much for joining. Those on Facebook, those on YouTube, thank you for coming on to another night of Talking Sip this Saturday night. And well, we got a good 2 hours to run. Let's see how it outwork. You know, funny thing that I say outwork because one of the things I was thinking about was how do initiatives and policies outwork themselves in the sense of when government do these things, set up policies and initiatives. How does it outwork? How are they measured? How are somehow they are filtered down onto people, if anything? So that's one of the key things. But it's very interesting what has been going on. I don't know if people have been watching the news, depending on which news you're watching, but there's a big thing going on in France. You know, a big thing going on in France, and somehow, unless you're in tune, you realize what is happening, what is really happening. You know, massive thing going on in France there, whereby they're talking about, you know, French police they said they're at war with vermin as they threaten revolt over rioting. British holiday makers are warned to watch out for curfews and travel restrictions as pressure grows on Macron to stop violence intensifying in France there. You know, why are the French rioting over? What are they rioting over? You know, the unrest is a response to the death of Nahel, who was shot dead during a traffic stop Tuesday morning in Nanterre. Second night of rioting followed the death of Nahel in Montreal, de France, on June the 30th. France protests, more than 1,300 arrested. But I think, in a way, France is actually a very interesting place, whereby they follow through till the end. They don't just stop. They follow through to the end. And I believe there has been rioting which has been happening at the same time. Yeah. Sorry, Michelle, I only do YouTube. The TikTok is just overflow. Ladies and gentlemen, YouTube is the main channel. I just turn on TikTok just for a few minutes or sometime. It goes on for a while to really get into the show. It's always YouTube. Always YouTube. YouTube is the main platform. Facebook is overflow. TikTok is an overflow. And also Instagram is an overflow, which I'll do that. Michelle, you should know that by now, man. All of these are overflow because one will never actually see any sort of discussion or any reactions from anyone, or actually to see the notifications or anything. So it is okay. Good. I like it better over on YouTube. Yeah, it's always on YouTube. All my shows are specifically on YouTube, and then everything else is just an overflow over there as much as possible. So yeah, so that's this thing which is happening in France there, Franca, which is very important. Over the few weeks or so in the UK, we we weren't on last week, and we're talking about the 5% interest rate, which has sort of gone up, hitting people at the same time. But somehow, as we have had in further discussion, is that people will have to somehow not to weather the storm, but actually to ride the storm. Not to weather the storm, but to ride the storm. Riding the storm is whereby you are maneuvering in it. You're actually creating and be creative as well. Creative as well. So therefore, one is not waiting for things to happen. And and even the week of last week, when we're at the Diaspora Conference, which was down in Birmingham there, not Birmingham, in Brunel. What kept coming up a lot was what these persons, the fellow they had to do when they first came to the UK. They had to band together, right? They had to band together as much as possible because nobody actually was going to give them anything, and they pulled together as much as possible. And we start to say that they will have to somehow we'll have to learn some of the things which are happening. We'll have to learn some of the things which are happening. That I had some different interviews at the conference, at the Diaspora Conference, and at the different interviews, everything brought something else out. That sometimes we've got to listen to hear what is happening, because sometimes we'll get caught out based on personal biases. And if I just play a couple of the discussion which I had. Let me see if I can find it. No, where is it? I can't find it now. Cancel that. Present video file. Yes. Colin Brown.
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir? Fantastic. I'm glad that I found you. And ladies and gentlemen, Chef Colin Brown is a development senior executive of the Turtle Bay Restaurant Group and a restaurateur.
Yes, sir.
It's great. I've always seen your food, and I'll be confessed that I've not actually tasted it yet.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I'll taste it eventually. But what's your purpose here at the conference today?
Well, Lawrence is a good friend of mine
Yes.
from Jump Pro, and actually he was my best man. And he said to me they're putting on this wonderful stuff for the Windrush.
Yes.
Which my grandmother's brother was a part of this.
Yes.
He came over, you know what I mean? So I just like, it's a good thing to just come and support, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so that is Chef Colin Brown, and Chef Colin Brown we had a quick interview with him, and the full show is on the YouTube channel as well, where we had some discussion. And with Chef Colin Brown, he's also a descendant of the Windrush era. And one of the most important thing about it is that one recognize that era, that period of time. And recognizing that period of time is that it is not just a nice moment, but it is where people had to recognize where they are coming from. And I was looking at some serious suits that these guys were wearing on when they came off the boat, and it was dapper. I'm trying to say dapper. And I think we can actually get some of these serious outfits from them. That's true. Jamaicans had to throw partners out, put money together to buy homes so they could live in. Yeah, that's the thing. They had to put money together. So Chef Colin Brown is a part of that new generation as well, working together and as much as collaborating during the course of the time. So we had different persons, and I play a little clippets there. Had what is this now?
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
And of course, to your viewers and your listeners,
Yes.
Happy Diaspora Month.
Yes.
And thank you all.
So therefore, I think I
So
just
much,
had a
man.
snippet
And
there.
it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
And of course, to your
Let
viewers
me-
and your listeners,
Yes.
happy Diaspora Month.
Yes.
And thank you all.
Let me play a better one. I'll play a better one of the minister. That is Terrelong, Orlando Terrelong, the Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Yeah, let me play a better one here. Okay.
Damp rule. Sir Lawrence, describe the current
The conference, which is a very question to you now, is what is the message that you have for Jamaicans in the diaspora, the UK, on your trip here, sir?
So the message is simply this, that the government of Jamaica considers our partners in the diaspora as, oh, I'm being very sorry now. I'm being redirected to this camera.
Yeah.
Are we live?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so, all right, so now I'm being told that we are live and I'm being redirected to the proper camera.
move on to a question to Jampro.
These are crucial, and especially the diaspora. This is something which has been crafted over the years. How do you interlink Vision 2030 and the national diaspora policy?
Yeah, so again, if you look at the overriding objectives, which
Yes.
is, capitalizing our human capital, and making sure that there is growth, development, and
Yes.
prosperity. You're looking at inclusion for all. The ultimate goal is to ensure that,
Yes.
Jamaica is the choice of place, to live, raise your families, do business.
Sir Lawrence.
So that discussion was with Mr. Orlando Terrelong, the Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, talking about Jamaica and the diaspora and the relationship with the diaspora as well. I mean, there was a launch also of the diaspora joint council, which was actually yesterday, and that took place, which was the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council and the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council as well, that took place, which was yesterday, which was virtual. And the reason why I'm bringing this up here is because, Jamaica talks about Vision 2030. Jamaica talk about so many different things. And I do note that the Prime Minister has been putting out a lot of different things which are happening, lots of different initiatives, lots of different things linked with policies. And you sometimes wonder if these things weren't communicated before or they're just communicated now. And sometimes one have to look at, to get through the maze, the gray areas, and to see what is actually happening, because sometimes there are so many noises. And one of the things that I found out a lot is that depending on who you're listening to, there might be some biases there at the same time. That doesn't mean to say that a government should not be criticized and a government should not be actually challenged. But at the same time, a government should be given the kudos or within the structure if they're doing something well. And that is something that I strongly believe. And there are more there are more discussions that one had along the day, and if I can find a couple here as well. Let me see. Today is what? Talking sip. Yeah, we got different persons here.
Say, okay, guys, listen, this is where we are at the moment.
Yes.
It's 75 years. The next generation is coming. Let's
Yes.
now prepare them to move into their birthright.
Yes.
In other words. So for me, being here, it's been a pleasure that I was invited here as a guest. And I'm just very intrigued to see what will happen and how far we'll go, as a nation.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And also being one of the producers of the Silburn Show.
Of course, that is Dian, who has helped with the show from day scratch, day one, and so who came down and also to be a part of the process as well. And it shows about collaboration. It shows that at the same time, what should I say? Should we say things are going? Yeah, things are going at the same time.
Been speaking to different
This is-
persons. I say, hang on a second, we got to really balance this properly.
Yeah.
Because there's a positive plus which is happening, trade surplus.
Yeah.
Do people know about that? You're saying now, and I've been speaking to different persons. I say, hang on a second, we got to really balance this properly.
Yeah.
Because there's a positive plus which is happening, trade surplus.
Yeah.
Do people know about that?
My mic was off. Trade surplus. Trade surplus. That is something else which is talking about at the same time. Trade surplus. Do we know about that? And I had a very interesting interview. Let's see if I can find him. No, don't know if that one is there.
And it's a pleasure to be
No.
here.
Yes.
And of course, to your viewers.
No, not that one. But I had an interview with a gentleman who was talking about wills. How many people actually do their wills? How many people actually leave a legacy for the future? Do we? Do you? Let me see if I can actually find it. And that's going to be released very soon. That discussion there. I don't know where it is. I'm sure I had a video, but anyway, that is something else. It's about wills. Do we do our wills? I'm sure I had the video somehow. That is with Mr. Patrick Morrison, and that is going to be released shortly. I also had Miss. Let me see if I can find her. IDS, Independent Diaspora, Integrated Diaspora as well. If I can try to find that video as well. 1, 2, 3. Yes, there we are.
Need to tap into.
Yes.
And I think it has been too long that other persons stay one side and say who is coming to our country. And
That was a quick one. Let me see if I can come back again. That was a quick one there. Let me see if I can find it again. That was Nordia Teep. Where is it? There.
need to tap into.
Yes.
And I think it has been too long that other persons stay one side and say who is coming to our country. And
Okay, so that was a snippets there. To watch the full show with all of these, one can actually go onto the YouTube channel. And what I did was we piggyback on the show which was happening there, and actually set up my studio down there, and we had a lot of discussions. I find that what it did was it broke through the main meeting and bring persons closer to say what you're actually saying and sort of break it down. And I believe that was really good. And that is something which I try to, as much as possible, to achieve along the way, So so that was it. And but the main thing on why I was playing this is because there is so much things which are happening over the topic which I put out today there, and this is the topic: hybrid president, which was very, very interesting. I'm trying to work that one. I think I have an idea what it is anyhow still. Hybrid president, that is what the minister is actually looking at as to the type of president that Jamaica may be looking forward to, or what they're actually making a recommendation. Before, during the constitutional reform, they were looking at recommendations for what should I say, a ceremonial president. But now they're looking at hybrid president. What is a hybrid president? Let's see if we can actually look at that a bit later. Also, Japan gave 400 million yen to Jamaica, which is actually 430 million Jamaican dollars. It had to do something to do with national security, ambulance, giving some equipments there. So that was something which I picked up on. There was also the Children Therapy Center, which is something which the Prime Minister mentioned. I think the big question is this: how does it outwork? Yeah, how does these things outwork? How does it filter down to the people at the same time? And how at the same time do one give credit where credit is due? Because as I said, depending on who you're listening to and different programs, one would check say Jamaica gone to the dogs. You know what I'm trying to say? What's this here? Yeah, Jamaica gone to the dogs. Don't know what this is. Somebody forward this back to me. Hybrid president. Yep. Jamaica gone to the dogs. And when I was looking at the bit regarding the hybrid president, let's look at this hybrid president bit. They said a hybrid presidential system is one whereby a semi-presidential republic or dual executive republic is a republic in which a president exists alongside a prime minister and a cabinet with the latter. You know, in a presidential system, the president is elected independently on legislature. This may be done directly through a popular vote or directly, you know. And they said, what is the difference? Anyway, I won't go into the difference between that now, but that is something which has been suggested. Somebody said, the music industry and the government trafficked me when I was a child and so many. Okay, Dean, if you can speak to that, Dean there. Dean, are you referring to Jamaica? Are you referring to the UK or USA or so? That's some serious allegation which is being made. And if that's the case, one need to get that out there, get people to talk about that, if anything. Those are some very, very, very serious allegations there, which I won't repeat because it's very interesting when one hear allegations all the while. Blessings and love, Vita. Boom. Respect Mr. Scotty as well. I don't know what anybody is drinking. What are you guys drinking? Talk and sip on a Saturday night. That's where we drink something. Drink and be mellow. Because now I'm going to say tomorrow we'll prosper. Yeah, drink and be merry because tomorrow we will prosper. That's what it is. Yeah, drink and merry because tomorrow we'll prosper. They just disappeared a while ago. I think I just saw this and it just disappeared. That's it. What are you drinking tonight? Are you drinking anything strong? Device is not connected. And I'm expecting Mark Cameron, if anything, to come on tonight. Because Mark made some sort of presentation to the constitutional group, which was really good. And that shows that in a way that they are and will listen and will invite people to make a presentation. You know? I'm gonna see if I can actually and there's a Mr. Townsend as well. I presented on behalf of the Let's see if I can actually find that. Okay, yes. Let me play this. You know, of course, that there's a debate which is still going on, and there's lots of discussions still going on regarding Jamaica becoming a republic. Oh yes. Let me play. This is Mark Cameron, who comes on a couple of times, and he made a presentation directly. Listen to that.
We have to structure our republic based on the realities of Jamaica. The gentleman earlier spoke about the corruption. In the absence of truth, democracy is unrealized. We are the founding mothers and fathers of a new and free Jamaica. The past constitution was colonially inspired. We cannot look on that as a model and say, well, because this is something new. It's not anything new. The Marcus Garvey political party, UIC, and Up Jamaica, we all came to the same type of structure of governance organically. I didn't, as a matter of fact, put me right here. When I spoke to Pete, when I finally met him, I said, let me check out what kind of government you what kind of structure you have. He had the same thing as the UIC. He has the same thing as Up Jamaica and the Marcus Garvey political party. Which means that us who are out of the bubble of government are looking on things from a people perspective. The gentleman spoke about representation, talking about the people. A representative is a person that represents an entity. That's why they're called a representative. The representative has a greater say in how things are being done. The person who appoints a representative has a greater say in how things are being done. And that has to be considered. I personally, looking on all the, I've been doing my own due diligence. I have some videos I could share with you. Speaking to people at the level of ignorance, it's frightening. When I speak to people about what's going on and they don't know what's going on in government, how can they accurately make a...
So that's Mark Cameron talking about making a presentation to the Constitutional Committee as well. So therefore, there is that opportunity for persons to also engage with the committee, which is on the quest and working towards Jamaica becoming a republic as well. So it's not just for those people only, but it's for everybody as much as possible. Lester Gale, good afternoon. How are you, sir? Okay, now I can't hear you. I hear a little mumbling sound. One second there. Can you hear me? You can hear me. Hold on, I hear you now, but you're very low. I hear you, but you're very low actually. Hold on. Yo? Let me see. Scotty, can you hear me clearly? Everybody can hear me clearly. Audio, okay, audio is bad. Let me see. Vita, can you hear me clearly? Michelle, can you hear me clearly? You know?
Am I still low?
I hear you. I hear you. Vita's hear me clearly. Can you? Okay. Let me question. Can you hear Lester? I think that's the thing.
How my volume now?
Sorry?
How's my volume now?
The volume is very low because your volume is very low.
My bucket now.
I don't know what happened, Lester. Hold on. You can.
Let me
Is it me? Can I hear you? Hold on. Okay, I can't hear you now. You're on mute anyhow still. You mute yourself. Yeah.
You can hear me now?
Here we are. Here we are. Okay. Yeah, that's good now.
Yeah.
Seem like the headphone is a part of Digicel network or Flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it the headphone that you wanted to work with?
I want to, but it's okay. It's no problem.
But I must say though that there's not that sound which was sometimes coming in sometimes, so it is very clear at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
So normally persons will call you Gaza, but tonight you're a doctor. Can you break that down for us so we can understand? Dr. LP Gale. It's up to you. You don't have to. You don't have to explain everything, but I just ask if you want to divulge.
One has to grow.
One has to grow.
One has to grow.
So in order to grow, you just change your name.
In order to grow, you make changes.
You make changes. Okay, fair enough. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's one of the powerful things this afternoon is in order to grow, one has got to make changes and changes in the right step and the right order, which is very powerful. And I just hope that person can grab that. Were you drinking any else, it was? I'm just drinking water today, actually, literally just water. Can you break that down for me, please? Because there's a rational reason why. Because health, health is our wealth, and health is something which is going on a bit. Can you break that down, like what you're drinking, since you showed it?
Oh, is okra, cucumber, and lemon.
Okra, cucumber, and lemon. And what is that good for?
For my health, for my diabetes, for my eyesight, for my skin, for my blood, cholesterol, everything.
Today I was buying something from a shop, some water, and I said to the guy, hey, and he said he doesn't drink water. He only drink juices. And I said, bro, you need to drink water. If you're drinking juices and those sweet stuff, at least cut it in half. At least something, because the doctor is going to start knocking on your door soon. If anything, when they do a blood test and check out certain things. So ladies and gentlemen, that is something which is needed to do, especially when it comes on to diabetes, when it comes on to what should I say, prostate and all those sort of things for men. There's a guy named Duke who's riding around in some fundraising, talking about men getting themselves checked out for prostate. Tony Kelly, who's always champion in the world, talks about diabetes, and many other persons talking about this for men, and specifically to black men as well, and not to wait till it's a bit late in the day, but to do it earlier, isn't it?
Exactly.
Bella Del Calf on Instagram. And so anyway, it's a very interesting week because you're in Netherlands, isn't it? You're in Dutchland.
Yes, and I'm in the Kingdom of the Netherlands.
Yes, and our somebody said our body's made up of H2O 70%. Sandra Pillars, how are you? Welcome. Thank you so much, and thanks for those encouraging words. When I do my walk, I love to hear when people respond and say that they have been blessed or see the different areas where I walk. Your government has apologized, Lester. Your king has apologized for slavery.
Yeah. King Koning Willem Alexander.
Yes, because that's a big thing, isn't it?
No.
What do you mean? I mean, big thing that he apologized. I mean, what do you mean?
2019 or 2020, the government of the Netherlands had commissioned repatriation money, and the figure that they came up with, that every black person or persons who were affected by slavery in the colonies and stuff like that. It's Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, St. Martin, Thailand, and oh god, the other group of islands. Just remember the group of islands name.
Yeah.
And when they saw the money that each individual was going to get, they said they had to review it. I think some like 800,000 euros per person.
Yes.
Yeah.
What Dutch King William Alexander apologized for the Netherlands involvement.
Sir, his name is not William. It's not William.
Willem. Willem. Did I say right?
Willem.
Willem.
Yeah. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Dutch King Willem Alexander apologized for the Netherlands' historic involvement in slavery. What he said, I ask forgiveness for this crime against humanity, the King of the Netherlands said as he addressed onlookers at ceremony in Amsterdam as a part of a wider reckoning with colonial histories in the West that have been spurred in recent years by the Black Lives Matter movement. You know. What does this? What does this mean now? I mean, is it gonna follow suit for other countries now? England don't want to say their sorry and apologize.
No, it's just it's even personally I don't like apologize apologies, because it's like persons can apologize to you and still hurt you again and apologize again. What we want to see from the government of the Netherlands is action. We and for me, repatriation is not just about money or the apology. The apology must come with something.
Reparation. It's a repatriation. Reparation, yeah.
So it must come in the form of action.
Something tangible. Yes, Lester.
Repeat that. Because you broke up.
Something tangible. Must mean something tangible.
Yeah, man. Like maybe persons who are from the colonies or stuff like that. Maybe their tuition, is 25% of what it usually is. Something tangible, something that can carry us into the future, something that can benefit. They still have Bonaire and Curacao and these places. These places I've been to Curacao, and it's in need of a lot of development. It needs to come up to the standard. Bonaire is just a very small island. Aruba also Aruba is a little bit more developed because Aruba is more touristy.
Yeah.
But the Curacao, Suriname need a lot of development. Suriname is no longer under the colony. It's just like the relationship with England and Jamaica. So constitutionally, they're still bonded. But they have their own president or prime minister, but it's literally falling apart. Up to a month ago, you had some massive riots across Suriname, burning down shops and stuff like that. Because they want the present government of the day. They want the government out. So there's a lot of remnants of the colonial past, the Dutch colonial past in Suriname presently. So most of the lands and the valuable assets that Suriname have is still held by Dutch.
Yes, that's very interesting. So I think it's a celebratory. It's always just as you said you are expecting and you prefer to see something tangible, but in the meantime though Black movements and Black Lives Matters are seen as a sort of triumph in a sense, isn't it? To a certain extent.
No. I mean, no? What has Black Lives Matter really achieved?
No. Forget about what the term what Black Lives Matter means, but I'm talking about. And I know the issue. What we're talking about is Black Lives Matter really very effective? But those persons who are proponents of it will see it as a sort of victory, isn't it? Some sort of challenge.
I think the victory would be if we stop killing each other.
You're talking Black people against Black people.
Yeah, because we kill each other more. We are doing what the KKK and the other people used to do to us. We're doing it to ourselves now. White people hard to kill Black people. So we need to come back to our communities, form our communities. Be a positive message to our community. We need to have the elders inspiring the young people. Again, we need to have this Black pride and Black excellence and Black love amongst each other.
Yes.
I mean, It's just when you look at Atlanta now, when you look at South Chicago, when you look at LA, you know, in Miami, you know, it's crazy what's happening, you know, in Louisiana, these places. Europe don't have that as much, with the exception of London, where there's massive knife stabbings and stuff like that. And it's kind of sad, because if it was a white situation, right, I think it would have been dealt with if you had like just gangs of white people
They'd have shut it down. They'd have shut
being stabbed. You know, if it was not even white and white, you know, but if you had black people stabbing white people in London, it would have shut down.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from, even though at the same time, you know, for the past year or so, I've not seen so much of a knife crime epidemic in the UK. I don't know if D can say anything otherwise to that, but that has been dipped in a sense. But during the Windrush era, and talking about the Windrush, and as I was talking to my previous guest, Mr. Patrick Morrison, I was trying to find his video. I'm going to try to find Patrick Morrison's video, but the video with Patrick Morrison and the interview I had with him, and he does wills, and I'm going to release that show tomorrow, all being well, touch wood. Just have a couple more edits Theo is doing on it. But we spoke about the challenges that the persons who came off that boat had. So they came nice, and you should see those dapper, the lovely way how they dress and everything. And then when they come, they realize, hang on a second, these guys are not going to allow us into certain places, because as some of the key words were what they said: no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. Those are some of the terms which was being used. And therefore, as a result of that, they recognized that they had to do something. You know, Lester, they had to make do with what they have in their hands. So they had to pull in for the partner, the things that they were doing, and to create opportunities for themselves. And one of the things that I'd love to know, I mean, Mr. Sam King, who's a gentleman that I knew his son and his daughter-in-law, and I was supposed to have an interview with him before he passed away. God rest his soul. But it was so great to find out who are the persons that initiated those meetings to say, hang on a second, we've got I can see the video, we've got a problem here. How can we actually rectify it? And what they did, against the odds at that time, they made a difference to themselves. And is it that we have slipped? You know?
Still.
Let me send Michelle the link. Did you send Michelle the link, or I send Michelle the link?
No, man.
I'll send her the link.
I don't have Michelle's number.
Okay. Let me send it. Okay, all right.
Still,
you're saying.
You look at the word what you used a while ago, partner. I think we take that word for granted, you know. In Trinidad and other Caribbean islands, they call it susu. But I think in West Africa also. But if you look at and it's an African thing, you know, it's not Jamaica. A lot of people think that partners are Jamaican. You know, it's not. It's originated in Jamaica. You know, but when you look at the partner, just the word alone, it has a strong meaning. It has strong importance. You know, it has evolved over the years now, where them have round robin now, but the round robin is still a support for each other. You know, so you know you have them have the drink out and like it's a celebratory thing, you know. But
yes,
it is very telling that they had to create a partner plan, a partnership, a partnering with each other to evolve as a group, because it's not just evolve single-handedly. You trusted this one person, a group only trusted this one person with the money. Imagine that, you know, and a lot of people they had skill, but they didn't have education in finances either. But they knew well enough that we like Silber and Mother, we like Mrs. Sidal. She's a good woman. So we are gonna entrust her with the money, you know. And this is how the community was. These are the things that we need to get back. but it show a sense of urgency with the people of Windrush. It shows a sense of community. It shows a sense of discipline also, because having a partner is like having a utility, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a rent or a bill. You have to pay this because you depend on it, but somebody else is also depending on it, you know. So this sense of community. So a lot of times nowadays we take partner for granted, you know, as something you just a chore, you know. But if you look at it, you know, you're in a partner with people something you don't even know.
Yes.
You don't even know, right? So and it's a saving mechanism, but it's also community. And a lot of, I think we don't get that again with a partner. But imagine it had a ripple effect in the communities all across the United Kingdom, because it's not just once, it's not just London alone or Manchester, or you know, it's just right across, and the tradition carries on to today. But I don't think it have that significance per se in cultural significance. It have more financial significance now, but it's still a community.
I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to actually come in on the show, let me know. We can send you a link so you can actually tune in to the show, and you can come on and even give your views, because one of the things that I want to talk about, and that list says here, is the government announced some few things recently, and you wonder, well, a lot of things is being announced, and while some will somehow criticize them, or because it's from the government and because they don't want that government there, one is somewhat maybe missing out on the positive streak about it and what it is about, you know. Still, I drop you, I drop off of the chair. Who said me I drop off of the chair? No, I drop off of the chair. I drop off of the chair? No, I drop off of the chair. I drop you, I drop off of the chair. Yeah. So yes, if anybody want to come in, but I still think as well that it's an opportune time for a Windrush era, for people to somewhat capitalize on that era, capitalize on that time, capitalize on some of the thing which was learned, and not just for just a ceremonial thing, but to capitalize on it to a high level, Esther, you know.
Yeah.
With the whole partnership bit, because in the UK now, for argument's sake, there's a 5% interest rate which is going up, and I was speaking to my bank the other day, and they said, even though some people are wanting to go on interest only, and then the variables, some are actually staying there because they're hoping that it may drop back down. Worst thing, they go on to a fixed thing, and then they're onto this fixed thing, and then they drop back and them get stuff. So therefore, it's an opportune time for when people are being squeezed, that they pull together and try to create something. Why you box over the mic? Who say I box over? I'm not touching the mic. Am I boxing over the mic, Lester? What do you say? Box over the mic. D, he's dropping mine after all that knowledge that Lester dropped. D, he's dropping mine. I don't know. I'm not dropping the mic. I don't know. I'm not touching the mic.
You know, these ladies are very aggressive, Silver. I made sure we wore pink today to show my softer side, you know.
You're pink today.
My wife loves seeing me in pink, you know. And then people like Michelle thinks I just green clothes alone have.
Well, if you go pink, we can go pink all the way then. There. Hold on. Let me show you something. Let me show you somebody on a chair. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, guess who this is?
say, okay, guys, listen, this is where we are at the moment.
Yes.
It's 75 years. The next generation is coming. Let's
Yes.
now prepare them to move into their birthright.
Yes.
In
Are the
other words,
producers-
so
are the producers
for me,
still?
being here, it's been a pleasure that I was invited here as a guest, and I'm just very intrigued to see what will happen and how far we'll go, you know, as a nation.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And also being one of the producers of the Silburn Show.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. That's we catch her out in Leicester.
Why, D just look, what kind of professional?
I mean, look professional. She's always professional, Leicester. What are you trying to imply there?
Like a professional interviewee.
Hold on. This
Which is very crucial and very important. Minister, one of the things that, depending on who you listen to,
anyhow, that's just a snippets of big things that come. I show some behind the scene things a while ago, you know.
Silburn, I mean, the way you're surrounded with labor right these days, you know.
Well, listen. I've been chastised when I was interviewing Mr. UIC. People are saying that you're now a part of UIC. When I interviewed Mark Golden, I was chastised. I was PNP. I interviewed Mr. Alander Terrelong, a very awesome interview and very astute young man. And people are saying, I left it. I betrayed the people. And I said, betray the people? What do you mean? You know, I kept saying, you have to somewhat what should I say? What man, I like gunshot outside, so you know, you have to actually listen to the people and draw your conclusion. You know, people don't want to listen anymore, Lester. They just want to cuss. You know, is Vita disturbing you while you're talking? Cause it's like it.
No,
I'm not the one dropping off a chair. Lester seemed to be very distracted.
no.
Distracted.
It is the MP for Northwest, St. Anne, Crystal Lee, having a conversation with me. So she tell you good evening.
Tell her to come on the show, man. Send her the link and tell her to come on the show. You know what I mean?
She knows your sister quite well, you know.
Always. Oh yes. We mean Vita friend.
And my friend too.
Oh, my sister, your friend too.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I think says one of my lick gunshot outside a while ago, but I realized not gunshot is actually thing. But listen, Lester, I'm if you tell you them got on to him last week. What did you say? I'm if you tell you them. Okay, D was there. Yeah. No, you did almost box over the mic. Okay. They let out trade secrets at the same time. I don't know. I tell out, man. Yeah. But listen.
They are informer, you know.
Yeah?
They are informer.
Nah, George Palmer. No, it wasn't gunshots. It was actually fireworks because I saw the things going up a while ago. You see, my
You're on TikTok live now?
Yeah, I'm TikTok as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I just leave it on TikTok and I just leave it on Instagram as well.
Yeah, your TikTok people don't like me, no, but good night to your TikTok people. Yeah. I love it. They don't understand. I love the back and forth, you know, but live feet, boy.
You know, boy, I have to teach a patois. These says you have to teach. Listen, these says you have to teach a patois.
No, ik spreek Nederlands.
Huh?
Yeah.
But listen. Yeah. But listen. There is something that I want to break down, and this is the bit about the 400 million, 428 million to boost the JCF mobility. Japan came and they gave 400 million yen. Yeah, 400 million yen, which works out to be 430.
So it's equivalent.
Go on.
Yeah, so it's the equivalent of 428 million Jamaican dollars, 400 million yen, and they're going to use it to buy. It's a grant. They're going to use it to buy 33 pickups and 5 ambulances. It is for the JCF personally. So like when a JCF officer is injured on the job or has a sickness or accident, there's responses. There's a response team available to help the personnel to get to a medical institution early. The 33 pickups are needed right across the island, and if you look at the article well enough, they show the distribution throughout the parishes, what is needed, especially in the rural area. Yeah.
No, go on talk. Gunshot now, Richard, man.
Oh.
Go on. Yeah.
Again, it show the confidence that our international partners are having with Jamaica. And we have seen a sea of support from the G8 and G20 countries in support of the current government and the country on a whole, based on the stellar performance of this government. When you look at the World Bank president, opting to not go to Bahamas where all these big leaders are, and he had a meeting with the world leaders via
Zoom,
via Skype, via Zoom or Skype, I don't remember which one. Video, and he came to Jamaica. He wanted to speak to the common man. He wanted to speak to the business owner. He wanted to speak to the political directorate, and just to get a feel of what is happening based on what is seen on paper. It's a good look. We just recorded a 4.2% growth this quarter, which is excellent. So it is things like that. The confidence of our international partners are constantly enjoying and supporting us.
The thing about it is how you sort of broke it down a while ago as to how does it work out in the sense of to the people, because this information is going out, and I must say that there's been a raft of information which has been pushed by the government. I'm not going to say the JLP, by the government of recent days. Am I correct? Yeah.
Yes.
And is it what they call being turned on? The Prime Minister turning on?
I think Labour might not like this, but it's a knee-jerk reaction. The information need to be going out in sequence. The information need to be palatable in a way that the common person can
My door is open, so let me just put it up.
Yeah. So the information should be available and palatable for the common man to understand, for the sixth form and the fifth form students to understand who's going off into college or going off into the work world. For the man on the sidewalk to get an understanding of what is happening. Also for the business person to see, how this affects his business, how it affects his planning, so from the macro level of the agencies, state agencies and stuff like that, the executive agencies, it's very important that the information is going on. So flooding the thing with various information, because there's a lot, government is a moving, living organism.
Yes.
So you have multiple things happening at once, and a lot of people don't know. What I'll talk about the civil servants, then, but a lot of people don't know that Jamaica has 1,001 or 1,100 agencies. So our government is very big. It's the largest employer of people in Jamaica, and so you have a lot of benefits, a lot of programs, a lot of systems, a lot of grants, a lot of things happening all at once, you know. So it's a lot of information to consume. Plus, persons have their own YouTube channel, they have their own TikTok, they have their own business going on otherwise. So you're bombarded with information.
Mm.
You know, it's a good look. And the thing is, you know, people will get the information that they need. People will get the information that they need. So a lot of time people say, oh, whenever hear, because you don't want to hear it. You will get the information that you want, you know. So it is what it is. I mean, put the information in a palatable, you put information in an accessible fashion, and then you leave it up to the people, because you can't force things down on people.
Sure. Yeah. Somebody said when they said about Michelle said about these ambulances.
Yeah, Michelle. There are ambulances, just that is not enough. And we have to understand that Jamaica, for the first time in its history, right, is having a positive debt to GDP ratio. Right now, it's at 78%. Right, before this Andrew Holness-led administration, it was 134% to GDP, debt to GDP. That means even when you pay off everything, you still owe money and can't pay them. You know, and we have the JLP have brought that down. I'm not here promoting JLP. I'm just promoting facts. What it is. You know, but we have to be very mindful of the thing that we ask for or demand or say that or why we not have this. Things cost money. Right? When you look at countries like the Netherlands, Germany, United Kingdom, right, where we have universal insurance, universal healthcare, right? So, for those who don't know what I mean, is that you don't go to the hospital and pay money, right? So you pay for, like in the Netherlands, you pay a health insurance. I think in Silverburn in the UK, it's in your taxes, right?
It's not what's that? You mean?
Your healthcare is covered by your taxes.
Yeah, taxes. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you go to the hospital and you get the medication, you get looked after and stuff like that. And you call the ambulance come. I don't know if you pay for ambulance service different, but I don't think so, right?
No, everything is within the NHS. Yeah.
It's the same thing here. You know. So, but we have to understand that Jamaica population is smaller, and we have less people working in Jamaica, less people paying taxes. Jamaica's economy is largely funded by cash and funded by the underground economy. And when I'm not talking about illicit economy, I'm talking about the underground economy. So you have a plethora of bars, small shops, you know, vendors and stuff like that feed into the direct economy. So if you take like the jerk chicken man, them, they're not registered. But then buy CB and Best Just Chicken, you know, that feed directly into and then buy oil, they buy seasoning from the market, the vendors them, you know, the vendors buy the thing from the farmers them. So it's very informal. So if you understand that it's still taxes and fees and stuff like that and grants that we get that run Jamaica. Right?
Yeah.
And until things are changed over now, that's why you see, even though the cashless system is important, because you'll then be forced to have a bank account, you'll then be forced to be on the grid, you'll then be forced to have, you know, where you're going to regularize your lifestyle now, so you have to pay taxes and all of that stuff. So it's a process, and you know, we have been this way for like 60 years. It takes a time to get people onto the treadmill of path of you know, legality. Not saying that they're doing something illicit. So you know, it's a process.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying there, and I believe with the whole cashless drive or an alternative way of living, because as I was this morning at the CAF, there are two CAFs in the park where I walk, and they do not accept cash. They stopped accepting cash during the COVID period.
Yeah.
And just use your phone or whatever like that. And when I did it, I said, there you go, cashless. But as you rightly say, once you're linked into the system with your cashlessness, then you're also linked into something else whereby the government can able to track you. That is if you are doing something dodgy, because one should pay their tax. You know what I mean? So they're
Yeah.
trying to regularize people to pay taxes. Because just we were talking about the other day that even with the government they consider the government action illegal for actually trying to transfer persons to Rwanda after they come here, refugees,
Yeah.
and it's illegal. But then we're looking at it in a different way by saying that all the persons that come, the taxpayers are going to pay for that, right? While at the same time, the taxpayers are saying, what about the persons who actually live in the country who are having issues with their homelessness at the same time? So taxes are being used in all different sectors, and people are now wising up and waking up to all of these things here as well.
But Silver, can I ask a question? And this is just, I'm really ignorant to this.
Yeah.
Do the taxpayers of the United Kingdom say the same thing when Ukrainian refugees are coming?
Actually, I'm gonna say no, because actually they open up their houses. The government encourage people to open up their houses and bring them in, and then the government actually pay or give them some funds at the same time to keep these persons, and that's another angle again, whereby it is because they are black and brown. Yeah.
In the Netherlands, we are receiving something like 500 Ukrainian residents a day, right? Ukrainian refugees a day. The Netherlands is now fast tracking building towns. I'm not talking about those housing units, towns
For refugees.
for refugees, for Ukrainian refugees.
Yeah.
So it's
Will the Ukrainian consider themselves as refugees as well? They might consider themselves as expatriates.
Silver, if you run for your yard, Silver, you're a refugee.
Yeah, beat against racism. It is because even Barack Obama pointed it out the other day that the quest for persons to look for the 5 men who got lost in that, going to look for the Titanic. Over the 700 people, or over 100 children who got lost recently in Greece, that same drive wasn't there for them.
It never is. It's never is. Yeah. I saw a clip on Facebook a few weeks ago where they have this like 8-year-old black girl standing in the middle of the center. She was just standing by herself like that, right? And people are up and down. And she was there for 45 minutes. Not one.
Was that the test? Was that the test? The test one?
Yeah.
Was it the test? Yeah, I remember seeing
one person said anything to her. They put a little white girl out there. Within 8 seconds, the amount of people come, start asking her what she want, and they make calls, and then 8 seconds. So yeah, it's the world that we live in. But Silburn, I cannot put any onus on any other race to take care of or look out or love my race.
Yes.
You understand me? We have to do this for ourselves. We have to see our own and love our own and take care of our own and protect our own. Yeah. Right? But let me answer to Michelle. Michelle, stop creating this falsehood about America. Stop it. I don't live in the United States of America. It's the greatest country in the world, right? There are places in Virginia, Washington, Florida, Michigan, Detroit. They're not electricity. They're not good running water. America look like it's the whole life is a middle class and middle income and all the amenities. There are places in North America, right, that look worse. In LA, that look worse than war-torn Iraq, Baghdad. You believe that a bomb has dropped there? So when people it irritates me, I'm not irritated. I'm Michelle, you know. I'm irritated at the fact that people use America as a standard bearer for certain things, which it is not. If you're talking about policies, if you're talking about infrastructure, Bahrain, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Germany, Norway, you talk about these countries, right? You'll never see anything close to a slum in any of these countries. So United States is not the bar, right? You don't have EMT services right across the length and breadth of America. It don't possible. Many areas that they don't serve many areas. And you can't challenge me upon that. I'm telling you.
Michelle, you need to come in the show. Yeah.
But Silver, what I'm saying is that they're asking a country of Jamaica who is just trying to grow the economy now to do something that a 200-odd-year-old country has been doing for a long time. You know, a country like America that prints its own money. America can do all these things because it's that rich, you know. So you're comparing two different economy of scales. You're comparing two different societies, two different resources. You know, it's unfair. Silver, you might mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Someone, George Palmer on TikTok said, here in the United Kingdom, Ukrainian refugees are treated much better than others. You know, it's confirming the whole thing there. You know, I mean, in some cases, Mana left them wife and go marry the Ukrainian lady who come and stay at the house. Alive, George. Left him wife, and the rest of these men were inviting them in their house. You know.
Gilbert, I have a black wife, you know, so I don't have that luxury to do that, you know.
I don't know if it's a luxury list. I don't know if it's a luxury.
I don't have the luxury to leave and do anything like that, you know, because I will then become a refugee myself.
or you're a deportee, going back to Jamaica. Deportee.
No. Remember, so she have access to Jamaica, so we can't go to Jamaica. If we go Rwanda or one of them places.
Well, no. What is wrong with Rwanda?
No, nothing wrong with Rwanda. No, the economy are good too. But
why do you think there is apprehension and that the government is actually saying that it is illegal? Well, they say it's illegal for the government to want to send them to Rwanda. And I always ask the question, what is wrong with Rwanda? And people say Rwanda has a history. I said, yes, but America has a history. The UK have a history. Everybody have a history. Even Port Royal have a history. You know what I mean? What does that mean?
It's that they're not doing it to other classes of people, other races of people. It's simple that. And sometimes these legislators, sometimes these civil society people, sometimes people just need to just talk frank. Just talk frank, you know. It is the same thing.
Why never talk frank? They can't talk Pete or John. Everybody have a Frank. Or talk Frank.
I rather talk like Simone or Yvette or anyway. You know what? Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
But when you look at even in the UK prisons, right? I don't know if it's still no, but they used to complain that the Jamaicans are filling up the UK prison. Polish people are the highest number of prisoners. You understand me? Second to the British people, then. Right? They commit more crimes than black people. But yet still they're creating a narrative that the black people are creating crime and filling up the prisons and stuff like that. That's why we have to deport them back to Nigeria, deport them back to Ghana, deport them back to the Caribbean, right? But they're not deporting Polish people who are committing heinous acts.
Yes. That is something else at the same time, you know. I mean, even with the whole Windrush thing, if one actually navigates it to a certain extent, one would say it's like I always find it whereby we seem to be asking for handout in all different respects. Black History Month, we're asking for handout. What I don't want to see the Windrush turn out to be is something whereby, okay, there was a scandal, but not for the Windrush to be considered as scandal, as the top word, but realizing that we are self-sustaining people who can actually do it for ourselves instead of asking for a massa to actually give you something to make you feel like you've arrived, and now you are, because people are still taking the gongs, they're still doing the MBEs, they're still doing the OBEs and all those sort of things, but I cannot see the appreciation of OB, MB, and all these different things, knowing what it what it represent. Some will say otherwise, to say that it's a new era, you know.
Oh, I just saw Michelle's comment, do EMT classes. They do that. They have been doing EMT classes from the 90s. The firefighters do EMT classes. They do have EMT training, man. I have a cousin, Trevor Edwards. He trains the firemen. He have done EMT classes in Jamaica. They do have it, man. It's just not as organized or fully funded, you know, because we have to understand the healthcare in Jamaica is 100% funded by the government of Jamaica, you know. The Bruce Golden do away with the hospital fees and stuff like that. Most things are free. There's certain things that you have to pay for, and because the hospitals are overwhelmed with so many visitors, that the machines and stuff like that break down a lot, and sometimes it's just a neglectful way of how the practitioners, also the medical practitioners, use these machines. Also, they don't take care and stuff like that because it's government. And Silver, you know, once something is government, they don't take the same care as if it is a private institution doing it. More clinics are being equipped now, you know, and I'm going to try, or maybe I can talk to Terry Lang to get Dr. Tufton on your program to give an insight on what's going on in the medical field. People like Michelle and other persons, and my other friend from the UK, what's your name? The lawyer lady.
That came on the show. Who's that again?
Vanessa.
Yeah.
Dr. Tufton would be a good asset, a good addition to give an insight on the many developments, you know, like real developments happening in the health sector, in the medical industry in Jamaica now. A lot of persons don't know what's happening, and you know, I'm going to try on my end, but also you can contact Terry Lang to see if you can get him on your show to just really give your audience what's going on. What I can tell you too, I can talk to my mom, because my mom uses the healthcare system in Jamaica a lot, and she knows she's better than me in terms of what's going on there, because she informed me on a lot of things that is happening there in the healthcare system, you know. So it's really important for persons who keep saying, oh, the healthcare no good, we need this, we need that. There's a lot of things happening. It's not where we would desire it to be, but there's a lot of things happening that people don't know. There's benefits, right? So like most of the radiology thing, the diabetes treatment, a lot of things are now free, and a lot of people don't know it. And the clinics are offering, so you don't have to go to the hospital itself, but the clinics now are offering a lot of these things, and medications and all of that free. What happens is most of the medication that you need, because so much people is dependent on it, it runs out quickly. So you have to go to the pharmacy, the private pharmacy, to buy them. But it is free. You know,
talking about the health service, you know what I was looking for a while ago? I was looking for the discussion regarding the health children therapy bit the Prime Minister. I have to go to his page on it. Can you talk about that bit there? Where is it? I saw it earlier.
It is a joint is a joint effort between the Development Bank and the government of Jamaica. The Development Bank spent $116 million, and the government of Jamaica spent $85.8 million. So it is at the Maxwell Park Children's Home. There's a lot of land there, so then just build on, and we need to start that with state places like that. They have a lot of lands around it. Just start build some infrastructure there to help the communities around Jamaica. So it is geared towards medical, social, psychological, physical health of our at-risk children. Out the gate, it's going to serve 4,400 children that are in state homes, foster care, at-risk youths annually, and also families. So children who are in homes and are going back to their family. So
Yes.
annually, it's going to cover about 16,000 children and their families. Because it's not just the children alone, but it's assisting family members to deal with the at-risk youth and stuff like that. And so they are training a lot of persons to deal with mental health issues and other type of psychological, social issues with children. So we're gonna have more persons being trained in that area, specifically to like state care children.
I was looking at the Prime Minister's page the other day, and I seen this raft of initiatives which are going on there.
Yeah.
Um, Starting today, National Housing Trust is increasing its loan ceiling, giving you more opportunities to achieve your dream home. Okay, the lady from thingy there visited the Prime Minister. The lady from that show there, forget her name.
Kerry Washington.
Kerry.
of Jamaica.
Yeah. Statin reported GDP growth of 4.2% for the quarter ended March 2023. One is relating to Statin there. Yeah. Martha Bray intake upgrade in Northern Trelawney with MP Tova Hamilton. Albert Town High School rainwater harvesting system officially open.
Spoke to Tova yesterday.
Yeah. Project will improve water supply. 1,250 student teachers are set to receive scholarships
STEM.
to study in area of
STEM.
science. Sorry?
For STEM, yes.
Yeah. Rising above global crisis. When you look at these things, and if one is not careful, one would actually missed maybe a lot of things or dissect it. I'll say dissect it. I mean, when they say, how does this work out? I like to look at these things this way. O'Neill and I, when we speak, let's work out how it is it a good policy or a bad policy? Good initiative or a bad initiative? Is it going to help the people? Yes, will help the people or not. But depending on a person side of things, they don't want to see that and they'll push that aside because they don't want that doesn't look good for them or for their case. But I still believe that the salary thing is wrong and it should roll back. But however, that is that there. But that shouldn't detract from the other things which are happening. You know what I'm trying to say? That's what I'm talking about. And how one break it down or how one actually dissect it or how does it filter down to the people. That's the key thing. And I don't believe people actually are getting that information, Lester.
All right. So Dr. Andrew Wheatley, right, former Minister of Technology, right? And he was also my best man at my wedding. He made sure that when he was a minister, he had zero-rated access to government sites, websites. So you with your cell phone, you don't need to have credit, right? You just need to, if you want to access any government website, right, you can just do it, and it will take you to the government website free of cost.
Yes.
So again, when I say the information is available, if persons want to know certain things, so you want to know something about social security, go on the social security of website. You want to know something about education or schooling, go on the Ministry of Education website. It is there because when people want to access pornography, they go on pornography website. When they want to access shoes, when they want to go on Amazon, when they want to go on, they access these sites, right? It is the same thing. So people have to take responsibility for their own ignorance. We have to stop sugarcoat things. We have to say, listen, we may be a person of PMP origin or PMP liking, But we
Yeah.
can't say that this is not available. And many things are available from PMP time too. Many
Yeah.
things are available from PMP time. But we have to take accountability on ourselves to say, hey, this thing is available. Why is this person getting that? Why is that person getting that? How come I'm not getting that? Right? Don't be too afraid or too big to say, hey, how did you get that? Oh, I didn't know. But the thing is that when somebody wants to know something, Silburn, right? Back in our days, Silburn, we had to go source it at a library. We have to physically go somewhere, right? Why is it that now you have this instrument in your hand that can do the work for you, the heavy lifting for you, but you're still in the dark ages, right? You are in England, I'm in the Netherlands. We have access to many things that is
We
available.
have to struggle based on the
Yeah.
realities of Jamaica.
Yeah. I see you're coming from there.
So we can access these things.
Yeah. So with dance. Thanks, Mark. I said, Mark, you there dance?
Yeah, man. What's
You
up?
there
How you
dance?
doing, man?
You there dance?
Who?
You there dance?
Oh, Lance.
Dance, no dance. You there bashment? Dance. Your music
No,
in the
I'm actually
background
at the
there.
beach. I'm actually at the beach, bro.
Yeah. Let's say the reason why Mark come on is because Malahu Fort mentioned something about a hybrid president. I don't know if you saw that bit there. Mark.
Yes.
Let me come out of the noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hybrid thing you're talking about is foolishness. Unless the hybrid is no prime minister, and the hybrid is usually when you talk about a hybrid, it means that it's a president or a prime minister with other powers,
Yeah.
like accomplishing a couple of things at the same time. It would be unnecessary to have a prime minister and a president. Number one, it's expensive. You're just replacing one one expenditure for another, and with no real power. An executive president is what that was what we spoke about in front of the CRC.
Yes.
If you notice, all of the opposition movements have the same message for a same kind of structure for governance. A directly elected president, elected Senate, and a DPP, which elected by the people or appointed by the elected Senate. We cannot have appointed Senate who are the prime minister's people making appointments with people who may not be willing to prosecute them if there's any issue with the government.
Yes.
So there has to be some separation, but for some reason this government is not keen on trying to be questioned about their activities. They just like things the way they want to get it done, and it doesn't make any sense. When I speak to the Jamaican people all around the country, they all want the right to select who they believe is best to serve them. Why would the government be against that? And there's only one reason I can come up with, is that they don't want anybody to question them. They want to do what they want to do and not to represent the people. They seem to forget, and I said that in Jamaica House. I told them, I said, hey, a representative represents the people. It's the people first who have asked you to represent them, or you have begged them to represent you. You have to follow through on what your task, and your task is to represent the people, not yourself. You don't know more. Why do you believe you know more than us? Why do you want to dictate to us when you are a representative of us? Does that make any sense to you? Ian Lance, talk to me. Does that make any sense to you, brethren?
Lance?
Yeah, Lance. Is Lance there?
Who's Lance?
Oh, I thought he said Lance was. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my GLP friend. I forgot. I'm sorry. Yeah, but it's not. But it's not. But
I was born at the Jamaica Labour Party Hospital, sir.
yeah, but you definitely carry their line when sometimes when it's not even that's not even sometimes the argument doesn't make any sense. Because you've been carrying that agenda. I listen to you all the time, Bridget. And I think you lack some level of objectivity,
Okay, thank you.
I don't know why, but I mean, if I'm wrong, prove me wrong. I just asked you a question a while ago. I said the wrong name, but what I'm saying to you,
I didn't know it was me you're talking to, but I can respond to the question now.
Yeah, please respond. Please respond to it. Yeah.
All right. First of all, I must congratulate the Constitution Reform team for inviting me to Jamaica House.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm so privileged. Yeah. Okay.
That on these forums is the only way you'll be in Jamaica House, right? But I agree with you. If you're going to have an elected official, president, elected leader, let us have an elected leader. I agree with you.
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised at what you said, because it makes sense. And I'm glad we're on one accord with that, because, we've been denied the right to represent ourselves. The colonial system has made it very, very difficult for us to chart our own course and to have a Jamaica that we want and not what they're trying to dictate to us. It's time for us to be free, brethren. It's time for all of us to come together as Jamaicans, as former enslaved people, who have been through a lot of trials and tribulation all around the diaspora. We've been challenged, as a people. And it's time for us to take our rightful place and chart our own course. And I think this opportunity that we've gotten from the government should not be wasted. As the president of the NDM said, Peter Townsend, who I really respect. I haven't, there's some great people in Jamaica that are in leadership positions of leadership that could do a really good job, and they have not been given the opportunity because of misinformation and our people not aware of what is going on in their name, a lot of good people have been sidelined, and that is what we're trying to change. Up Jamaica believes in a meritocracy, where the best people in the Jamaica diaspora and in Jamaica can represent our country, and that's the only way we're going to be successful, if we have the very best. So the appointment business is outdated. The appointments are for friends and relatives. We want the best. And if the best is a relative, then so be it. But everybody has to be given the opportunity to prove themselves to the Jamaican people.
I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But if you're going to try to retain the best, we have to pay the best.
You see, there you go again. You see, here's where we have a fundamental.
But hold on, Mark. If you're going to ask persons to give up their time and their skills, remember, persons will then have to dedicate them life to governance, right? So we have to be fair to these people. We have to pay them as according to how that their skill set is also. I'm gonna respond to that in a way that you can understand. Nobody no beg them to come serve, them beg we. They know exactly what money is being paid. Service is not a job. Jamaicans are looking for people who are willing to serve. I could never, and let me say this on the air and everybody can hear me. I would never in my right mind charge my people to serve them.
Jamaica at this point wants people who are not looking for a job. If you want a job, go get a job. Serving the people is not a job. Get a job. We want people to serve, my brother. We're tired of people coming to government to look for something. No, get a job. We want service. If you can't serve, go home and get a job. They beg you to vote for them. We didn't beg them to come to serve us. They beg us to serve. So you know what the job comes with? You know what the job comes with? You know the monetary compensation that it comes with. If you don't like it, don't apply for the job, Bridget, go to somewhere else. But guess what? They love it so much that even with the so-called low pay, people leave their lawyer jobs and their other big jobs to come into public service because they benefit. They benefit, and we don't get served. We end up serving them, and nobody can dispute what I just said a while ago. Not even you.
No,
because they all come out. No, they all come out rich. They all come out rich, my brother. They all come out rich,
and that is not true because many.
What is not true? Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Mark, we're having a discussion. Hold on, Mark.
Yeah.
I know personally of PMP and JLP members of parliament that the government of Jamaica had to bury. Right? One such popular person is Michael Manley. Right? It's a good thing to say him a prime minister or ex-prime minister. I think it's a state funeral. All right?
Hey, one second there.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think he got a call.
Yeah. It's very interesting what Mark is actually saying regarding, and I'd love to hear what people say in regards to what Mark says, that when you go into government, you are actually going there to serve. You're not going there to be paid in a sort of handsome way whereby
it's a job.
Well, it's a job, and it's a job. One of the things I was looking at is the job description, which they're even trying to sort of put together. They're trying to put it together. And listen, I'm also still concerned about the 7 codes of conduct, which I got the figures and they showed me. I saw the opposition, the prime minister and his people haven't signed the code of conduct, unless it does in recent days.
Going into service, Silburn, don't mean say it's free. You understand me? When I was managing artists and people asked us to do a free show, I made sure to tell promoters and tell persons and tell corporations that free show don't mean that I don't charge. It just means that I don't charge my regular fee. Right, because there's still an expense part on my part that I have to cover. So if you can cover my basic expenses, that's fine. It's a free show, right? We are giving service, but we still have certain expenses that we have to cover.
But guess what? The MPs get out of concessions. They get money for housing. They get money for gas. They get all kinds of a stipend to do all the things that they're housing. They get everything. Housing alone. How many people serve in the Rotary? How many people serve in the? How many people serve in the Rotary and other service clubs that don't get paid?
Mark, what you're not going to come here and do is make up your own facts.
That is a fact. That is a fact.
MPs do not get housing allowances. They do not, Mark.
How much you want bet? How much you want bet? How much you want bet?
What you're saying is incorrect.
How much you want? How much you want bet? That's all I want. How much you want bet?
Mark,
Michelle, write down the figures. Write down the figures.
Mark, hold on, Mark. Listen to me.
How much you want bet, brethren?
Mark, I don't.
I bet you $1,000 US right now. Them get another ones.
Mark,
bet me now, brethren. Bet me now.
Mark,
bet me now.
Hold on, Mark. We're having a civil discussion. I do not want to take your little bit of money. Right?
Well, I want yours. I want your money. I want your money.
You want your money, Lester.
I do not want your money. I am of service to you also. I want you to keep yours, right? Please, trust me. What I'm saying to you, Mark, do not come on the air and make up stuff, Mark. Right?
Put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is.
Hold on, Mark. MPs don't get housing allowance.
What do they get? What do they get?
Ministers who live out of town and they have to come into Kingston, right?
Yeah.
They get an apartment that they have to foot some of the bill. This 80s and 70s thing and 90s thing that MPs and ministers get one time, there's a free ride. That's over with. Mark, I think you need to update your information now. You need to come into the 21st century of what is happening in Jamaica and in government, right? The MPs use a lot of their own resources. Like, I'm not talking ministers, I'm talking MPs. MPs who have a driver. The MPs pay their own driver out of their pocket. The MPs pay the driver. Parliament offer a stipend to the MP drivers, right? But to fully compensate the driver, the MPs have to do that. There's a lot of things that was what in the 80s and the 70s and the 90s.
My brother, most MPs are driven by police. Listen to me very carefully. Most MPs are driven by police officers.
No, sir. Ministers are. Ministers are, sir.
But
Rhoda Crawford right now don't have a driver. She a driver herself. Tova Hamilton don't have a driver. She a driver herself. Crystal Lee don't have a driver. She's driving herself. Right? Come on, man.
Well. Hold on there.
I got some facts. Go on.
Just I don't get sidetracked on what we talked about. I was part of a service club for 8 years, the Rotary Club in America for 8 years. I served doing a variety of different things for the community and never expected a dime. We did a lot of work helping different communities and different charitable organizations without even looking for anything. The problem with our government is that it attracts people who are looking for something from the Jamaican people. We don't get served. Why? First of all, we are borrowing. Jamaicans are borrowing to pay our bills. Do you understand what it means to borrow? Do you know what it means to liquidate your assets to pay for a top-heavy government? I'm going to say this to you again. If I ever find myself in a position where I'm serving the Jamaican people in the context of our financial situation, I could not, in good conscience, take a salary. I could not, in good conscience, take a salary because what Jamaica needs at this time is persons who are willing to serve. Back when we had the Legislative Council, which came out, which was part of the colonial operation when we were colonized. Most of the people, even in England, most of the people who are like the House of Lords and those are people who have already made it. And they just want to serve their community. There are a lot of people in Jamaica here who have already made it and want to make good decisions that are going to benefit the country. All we've been getting is these hungry belly people who come in a broke and come out rich. You've mentioned 2 or 3 persons who may have been broke, maybe by their own financial the lack of financial savvy. They have been in a broke. But I want to tell you this, my brother, and you cannot deny this. Most of the MPs and most of the elected people in Jamaica who go into government come out rich. So do not use an aberration of 1 or 2 people to tell me how broke they were. Maybe they don't know how to control, to finance their own, to handle their own money. But these people in government here right now are spending money that they wouldn't spend in their own household. They're spending money that we don't have. They take these junkets. I'm privy to a lot of information where Jamaican ministers and different people in government, they go to these junkets and these so-called events, and they make the decisions to go to these events based on how good the shopping is in when they go to these little things, these little what do you call them? When they go to these conferences around the world, one of the things they look for is which conference has good shopping in that area. And I'm not making this up, my brother. I'm very connected that more than you ever could have imagined. They make decisions based on how good the shopping is. And they fly first class. They fly first class on Jamaica's dime. So these parasites need to go. It's a new day. And we have to get rid of these parasites who are coming into government and look for something. We're tired of that. Jamaica tired of that.
I have someone from Greece who is saying that the highest paid jobs everywhere are MPs and high-ranking government positions. I bet no matter who you vote for, nothing will change. The problem is institutional. We have the same problem in Greece.
Silver, could you read that thing that you posted about the parliamentarians?
All parliamentarians except for backbenchers and the deputy speaker are also entitled to the 1.2 million in travel allowance per year. And the parliamentarian who operates her own vehicle gets an additional $30 per kilometer for travel outside of the corporate area.
All right, so Silver.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, not all MPs get these benefits. So Kerensia Morrison, who is a backbencher, Rhoda Crawford, who is a backbencher, Crystal Lee, who's a backbencher, and the others who are not ministers do not get this 1.2 traveling allowance. They're backbenchers. So when Mark come on here and say all MPs do this and all MPs do that, when Mark come here and say that MPs are spending, right? If I challenge him to give me one such MP who have this free access to cash of taxpayers' money, he cannot do so. He cannot call a name because him say my facts, right? These people are people who I also interact with, right? 2 weeks ago, last week, Crystal Lee, the MP for Northwest St. Anne, was in Brussels, right? Hero Clark is now in Brussels also. These people are not going there for shopping. Come on.
What have they accomplished? Hold on.
Don't change the narrative. No.
What have they brought back? Was the money worth spent? Hold on. Look on all of the junkets. Look on all the conferences you have gone on. What have they brought back? Have they brought back anything tangible to the Jamaican people that's money well spent? Absolutely not. So don't come with the foolishness.
Hold on, Silburn. What you just put up, Silburn? Could you read what you just put up, Silburn?
But it is not just salaries. The leader of the opposition gets this is some years back, 276,000 per year as housing allowance, while junior ministers and parliamentary secretaries get 207,000 housing allowance. Housing allowance is not given to the backbenchers or deputy speaker. All MPs except backbenchers get 78,000 as subsistence per year, and most get a telephone allowance each year amounting to $30,000.
Okay,
that's
again, I am correct.
You're not correct. You're splitting hairs.
I didn't read anything.
Okay. Guess what? Maybe the MP. Hold on. Maybe the MP.
Mark,
maybe the MP that I know.
You don't know, Mark. It is not. I'm sure you don't know. It is not maybe. I didn't bring up this information. Silbert said I'll bring up this information, right?
Okay.
You must accept when you are wrong and when you're put across.
I'm not wrong. I'm partly right, and you are partly wrong.
Silburn, didn't I say ministers get these benefits?
I think Mark, what Lester said is that ministers and some high level guys are the ones that get housing allowance, and what I put up a while ago in my research, that is what is actually said.
Okay, so here's what I know, right? Is that the minister that I spoke to, the minister that I got information from. At the time that he was minister and he was in the GLP, I'm not going to call his name, but he told me about the amount of money he got for housing allowance. He said, Mark, sometimes I use my own money to pay the area man, the area leader. He always walks around that he's 150,000 in his pocket. So when the area leader comes by, he can pay money. He can.
None of this can be substantiated, Mark.
Well,
Mark,
well,
for
guess what?
somebody like you who seek representation of politics, you come with wrong bar stories all the while, Mark. You need to come with facts.
Okay, okay.
You realize when I speak,
Hold on.
I speak
Hold on,
with
hold on, hold on.
facts.
Hold on. Okay.
Virgin,
I can
wrap
say
up.
to
Yeah.
you, I can
Hold
say
on.
to you, Mark,
Let me
you'll
let me
never see the
finish.
inside of Jamaica House as a
Let
political
me.
representative. Never.
Where's the while ago?
All right.
Where's the while ago?
You will never see the inside of Jamaica House as a political representative. You will
Me
never.
no want to see. Me no want to see it.
Okay,
Who
good.
tells me want to see it?
I am glad that you don't have that ambition.
I said, if push come to shove, and it's the only way for things to change, and I'm asked to do that. That is when I have no interest in politics, Virgin. I have no problem being an artist and being an advocate and being an advocate and being an advocate for the Jamaican people. Okay, so here it is, right? The person that I spoke to, I have no reason. I have spent my life.
Call name.
Why would I do
call
that?
him in. No, listen, encourage.
Why would I do that?
Call him in. Don't call
Why
him
would I
in.
do that? Anyhow, like I said to you, right? I've spent my life trying to find out what is right. And if I'm wrong, I have no problem admitting I'm wrong. The person that I spoke to, gave me the details about how much money he got for housing allowance, and even talked about renting out his existing home because he has a house that's provided for him by the government. Now, he also said to me that he has to spend his own money to pay the area people. He said, boy, Mark, are pure beggars. When I go into the mall, I beg me and all kind of thing, right? And this is a person who is in the GLP. But I've heard it from other people. Now, I didn't know that it was only the ministers who got that money. I looked at him as a regular MP. So I stand corrected if that's what was, if that came out based on Silburn's research. I can tell you I don't know that for sure, but I can say what I was told by the MP that I met. So I stand corrected if that's the case. But in any case, I don't believe these people should be getting a salary increase based on the condition of the Jamaican people who they represent. You have to understand something, right? That in my world, you serve the people first, and anything left, you can't get that. That's what the thing said. If you come to my house, and maybe this is how I was brought up. When you come to my house, you see, and I never liked when I had visitors coming to the house, because guess what? When it's time to share dinner, our guests get the breast and the leg, and my brother and sister get the chicken back and the chicken body. Excuse my French. We don't get the best parts of the chicken. Our guests get that first. So when I look on government, you see, I believe that you serve the people first, and after their needs are met, after all of their potholes have been fixed, of when all of their constituencies have clean running water and garbage disposal, then we can talk about a fair an increase in salary. You're putting the cart before the horse. You serve the Jamaican people first, my brother. That's in my world. That's how we operate in my world. But everything is upside down today. What is wrong is right. When lawmakers become lawbreakers, we have a serious problem. So the world is upside down. I can't argue that. I just have to look the kickback and say, boy, what a situation we're in. What a situation we're in as a people.
Mark, I enjoy this discussion. When next I come to Jamaica, I'll get a number from Silver, and I'll call you, and we have a drink a beer. You drink a Red Stripe. Are you open for that? For the sit down have a man-to-man conversation.
Brethren, I'm I'm one of the most reasonable people you've probably met. I'm not. Yeah. I don't harbor any hate in my heart.
Good.
I love people. I live in love.
Yeah.
And I sometimes get in trouble for bringing people back into my life that have no business being there, because they have not done me any good. But my forgiving spirit has allowed me to continually hurt by forgiving and getting hurt every time I go back.
Yeah.
That's a fault that I have. So no, I'm not a person who, brethren, we all want the same thing. I think you're just misguided. I think you're just misguided, and you know that's okay. So a lot of us are still colonized, you know. So you know, my journey, brethren, is to enlighten people, and I want to learn. And the more I learn, is the more I like to share what I learn. I don't profess to know everything, and I want to learn too. I don't know everything, no, brethren. But if one of us right, me want align with the brethren that's right, so I can learn and benefit from you being right. I don't have any ego that because me know me who me is.
Lester, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I don't have any hang-ups about myself. I'm a very confident black man, Jamaican black man.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
I'm not a lesser person. I'm not a lesser person.
I think my mic is gone. Can you hear me, guys?
I'm not a lesser person if I'm wrong.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can hear me?
You can't hear it, man. You can't hear it.
No, we're fixing my mic now. Somebody has to mute them backside. Hold on. Mark, I just want to ask this question. I thought my mic wasn't working. Mark, in 2 minutes, what was your presentation to the committee? How was it taken?
Intrigue. I was a little disappointed in the fact that some of the people on the board thought that voting for president directly by the people of Jamaica, voting for the Senate, Dr. Barnett said to us that it's a bit radical, and he believes in gradualism. Now, Dr. Barnett is in his 80s. He's a constitutional lawyer for many years, from the 50s. When I hear a man like that talk about gradualism, he come like say me, he want me turn 80 before we get what we want, less like him. And that not gonna work. It seems as if the people that have been selected by the government are people with their own agenda, and they're giving us the impression that they're listening to us. That's what I gather, because how can you look on a freely elected president by the entire Jamaican population? And one of the things that Peter Townsend said, which I thought was very impactful, he said that he liked, in one instance where there was an election, he saw a person on the GLP side, no, the PMP side, that he liked, but he didn't like the PMP, the party leader for the other party. I mean, for the same party. So he couldn't come around to voting for the person he liked, because the party leader, he didn't like the party leader. So what is wrong with giving Jamaicans the option of voting for a PMP candidate, but voting for a different president? Because there's some good PMP persons out there, good MPs that you could probably vote for, and some good GLP person that you might want to vote for, but you may not want the party leader. So it's really about looking on the history of how our government has worked and the structure of government, and to chart the best course possible today. Having the information that we've had and the history of what has worked and what has not worked. So I think it's just an exercise as far as I'm concerned. They were very some of them were kind of snobbish to it, and some of them were intrigued, like, oh really, this is what you want? Okay. As if there's something new. This is not something new or radical. When Dr. Barnett said it was radical, that took me by surprise. I was like, radical, wow. To vote for president is radical. To vote for elected Senate is radical. Give me a break, man. He has no business being on the Constitutional Reform Committee. He's outdated. He needs to be removed.
Yes. All right. Well, guys, listen. Very spirited discussion, and it's very important. Lester get mad, which is good when Lester get mad.
No.
Mark,
No,
you enjoy the
I
beach.
get passionate when I know that I'm right, and I
Yeah,
challenge
yeah.
anybody on social
No,
media platforms.
listen.
I know. I listen to you just now. Listening is also an art, Mark. It's an art. Try to learn that art. What I'm
Well,
saying
I'm an
is that
artist, bro. I'm an artist. You know what I'm saying? I'm an artist, brother.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Some of us are struggling artists, and so I'll support you in your art, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that we have to be careful of the information that we disseminate, that we are giving the correct information. We have to be careful of the information that we receive also, because sometimes we may be receiving information that is inflated and that's not factual. So we have to do fact checking, right? This is a great platform, and I don't want the platform to get into the disrepute of incorrect information, because we try here.
Mark,
Mark,
on the music here.
Very positive.
Yeah.
So here's what Lester. While you're freezing wherever you are, right? Hold on, Virgin. While you're freezing wherever you are, I'm going to show you, Lester. I'm going to show you what I'm fighting for. I'm going to show the Jamaica that we all want. Okay, just as we close out the show, this is what we're fighting for. Take a look. A beautiful Negril and the Jamaica that we own. This is our country. Look on the Jamaica.
I don't know what your point.
This is 7 miles of beautiful Negril. So while you're freezing in Luxembourg or wherever the hell you are, I'm here on the ground fighting for Jamaica that you can come back and enjoy. All right? So when you're ready, bring your beer, your red stripe.
No, he's going for Heineken. Heineken, Magafa. Magafa Heineken.
No man, Silver. No, I'm going to go down to what he's drinking, Silver.
No, I know it's Heineken, man, because pure labor drink Heineken. You know that.
All right, Mark. Listen. Peace
Mark,
out.
bless up.
Yeah, man. Take care, guys. Nice talking to you. Lester, respect.
All right.
Respect. Every time.
Not Lance, Lester.
Me link it after here.
Huh?
No, I said not Lance, Lester.
That's right. I keep calling you a lot. You boy, old time thing. I turned 62 a couple days ago, so you have to give me. You have to tell me.
Yeah. All right, Mark. Mark, we talk, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Peace
Respect.
out. Respect. Cheers, man. Cheers.
Woodstock Negril it is. Woodstock Negril.
Okay, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. That's a wrap. I want to thank you so much for joining the show tonight. For those on Instagram, those on Facebook, those on YouTube. Lester, I think Lester got kicked out a while ago. Everybody get kicked out. I'm also got kicked out. I thought at one point I was kicked out totally out of the show. I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear myself or so. But anyway, see you Saturday night. Thank you, Dee. Thank you for everybody for their input. And those on TikTok and those on Instagram as well, to make a friends and spirited discussion. Let's keep the conversation going and let's keep it rolling. And as we seek for a better Jamaica, peace out. God bless you. Remember to like and subscribe to the show. Boom.